Good afternoon, ma'am.
Well, Dr. Ghoneim, the importance of the participation of the Minister of Planning and Dr. Rania Al-Mashat in the activities preparing for the future summit and convening of the United Nations General Assembly.
Well, actually, the Egyptian diplomacy has been very active during the last few months on many fronts.
Yes.
Dr. Rania Al-Mashat is now participating in this UN summit, and she called for the establishment of a new African credit rating agency. And this is very important because as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi correctly mentioned many times before, especially during the Paris summit of May 2023, that we need to have a new global charter for global financing.
Yes.
The international financial organizations, the major ones, of course, they played an important role in financing the needs of the developing countries. But we have started to feel that they ought to modernize and update their own risk management frameworks, their own evaluation frameworks, especially regarding the credit evaluation and the risk evaluation of financing developing countries. Because those developing countries are the major parties that were harmed by the global warming, and
yes.
yet the major countries that cause such global warming haven't yet provided the necessary finance for the developing countries to adjust their economic and financial structures to cope with the new changes, especially the climatic changes. Now, the establishment of the new African Credit Rating Agency, actually, we all aspire to see new frameworks and more modern and more up-to-date risk
yes.
evaluation and credit evaluation frameworks, especially for the developing African countries, and taking into consideration many important aspects and many new aspects regarding the capabilities of first of all, the capabilities of the African countries to get finance and repay their loans. This one thing, and also the needs and requirements, the evolving needs and requirements of the African countries.
Yes, Dr. Ghoneim, one of the topics that Dr. Rania Al-Mashat led is a high-level dialogue on the establishment of the African Credit Rating Agency. So, what is the importance of the agency, this agency, for the African economy?
Well, actually, we're all aspiring and we're all waiting to see the new and the updated frameworks of such agency in evaluating the creditworthiness both of the African countries and also the African development projects, especially those projects that pertain to the climatic changes, as I said. Now the Egyptian diplomacy is again taking its leading role within the African framework and within the African Union in order to boost the efforts for economic growth and for the African countries to obtain the necessary finance that they need and that they require. But we're also stressing on the fact that the international finance and international credit rating, they are no more a Western monopoly. The African countries and the developing nations in general should have a say in this.
Yes. Dr. Ghoneim, does the establishment of the regional credit rating agencies serve developing countries?
Yes, exactly, because as I said, the credit rating, whether it's sovereign credit rating or project credit rating, along with the financing frameworks, they should not be, or they should be developed into a more of an international endeavor, an international partnership.
Yes.
For a long time, they have been monopolized by the Western organizations, and many international calls have been calling that this is not fair, and we need the participation of the developing countries in such endeavor and in such quest.
Yes. So, Dr. Ghoneim, one of the most important topics is confronting the climate change. And you've mentioned through your my first question, what is the importance of controlling the climate change and supporting the economy?
Well, the problem with climatic changes is that it has been by the industries and the activities of the industrialized nations, of the developed nations, and those nations that suffer from such changes are the developing nations. They are the poor nations. They are the financially poor nations, I can say, and those nations have a problem in procuring the necessary finance for adjusting their economic structures to cope with such changes.
Yes.
And that's why President El-Sisi in 2023, he participated in the Paris summit because we have a lot of calls amongst international players and stakeholders that we need to have a new global charter for international finance.
Yes. Yes. Dr. Ghoneim, the participation by Dr. Rania Al-Mashat is the first of its kind since the merging of the Ministries of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation. What are the most important gains of this merging?
Well, such merger came along with the policy of the new Egyptian government, new Egyptian cabinet, to merge ministries that have interrelated activities, like merging, for example, the foreign ministry with the immigration ministry. The government has merged the Ministry of International Cooperation with the Ministry of Planning because both ministries handle the file of sustainable development, which is the capability of the economy to generate sustainable high and sustainable rates of growth without, of course, affecting the environment, so guaranteeing the sustainability of such high rates.
Yes.
The Ministry of Planning has been undertaking or has been supervising such file on the local level, on the level of sustainable development goals and integrating such goals in the Egyptian development goals, even on the local and municipal level, on the level of the governorate, on the level of regional development in different regions in Egypt. The Ministry of International Cooperation has been active and has been supervising the endeavors for obtaining the international finance to fund such SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. So merging both of them would help in streamlining the activities of both ministries.
Yes. Dr. Ghoneim, the transition to the green economy is one, of course, one of the most important steps that the countries of the world are seeking, and Egypt has taken several steps in this direction. I mean, what are the most important of these steps?
Well, actually, Egypt has undertaken a lot of steps in order to, first of all, localize the international sustainable development goals and integrate them in the Egyptian development plans. Law number 18 of the year 2022 regarding the national planning of the country stress on the fact that
Yes. Yes, Dr. Ghoneim. Okay, we thank very much our dear guest, Dr. Ayman Ghoneim, economic and legal expert. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and I'm going to be back with you.